Hi, today's video we are going to look at the design of casement windows on the Starfront program. So to do a design on the Starfront program, you need to go to the contracts menu, and what we're going to do is we're going to create a new contract. So we click on the new contract button. That will open the following screen. Well, first thing is we need to give that contract a reference. So I'm going to simply use the reference sample 01, and I'm going to put this as sample contract for training video number 1. Alright, so we just give a contract a reference, we give it a name, it'll default to today's date. The revision number 1, the status is a quote. We need to ensure that we specify the correct wind load. Alright, I'm based up in Gauteng, so I'm going to specify wind load of 1000 pascals on this job. And I need to ensure that I have the right finish selected. That is our standard white powder coating, so I'm going to keep that as my finish for this contract. I'm not going to fill in a header, the estimator, I will just put in my initials. I'm not going to put in a comment, and this is based inland. So that's the first set of information that you need before you can create a contract. Once you've entered that in, I'm not going to worry about the other boxes for the time being. What you're going to do is you're going to click on the next icon along which says original design. Now this is where you do your actual design of the window. The windows we want to design look as follows. Okay, we're going to start off with a simple design that looks like this. It's a fixed window, i.e. there are no opening sashes on this window. It's 1200 millimeters wide by 900 millimeters high. So just keep in mind that is what we are wanting to design, and we are going to call this window W1. So your first thing you need to do is you need to click on this blue plus button, which when you click on it will highlight this following information that you can fill in. So the first thing we need to do is we need to give that window a reference. So I'm going to call that window simply W01. There's one window like this. It's designed at a wind load of 1000 pascals. And installation, we're not going to worry about putting installation at this stage. We're just looking at the design phase of the window. Now, hopefully you've watched one of the introduction videos on the basic concept behind the design, how to determine what is a frame and what is an insert. If you haven't watched that video, I suggest you go back and watch that video before you do this video. Alright, so once I've filled in my reference, my quantity, my wind load and my installation labor, this first field highlights for me. It says what type of window is this? Now you'll notice the screen has got two sections. This top section is everything to do with the frame, and the bottom section is everything to do with the insert. When we make the decision of what part represents the frame and what part represents the insert, remember the frame is all the way around the outside, as in a picture frame, and then any mullion or transom that runs from the one side of the frame all the way through to the opposite side. So this mullion in our window number 1 is a mullion that is running from the one side of the frame all the way to the other side of the frame. So it forms part of my frame. Alright, so keeping that picture in mind, what we're going to do is we go in and say, what is it we want to design? I want to design a Creelco window. Which system do I want to use? Now there are a variety of systems that are available that you can use to design a casement window. We are going to work with the Creelco Swift 28 system for this training video. So I choose my Creelco Swift 28 system. I then need to choose the category. Now within Creelco Swift 28, there's your normal 28 millimeter outer frame. There's a 54 and a 70 mm outer frame. Now remember, your outer frame does not carry any structural load of that window as long as your outer frame is attached correctly to the brickwork surrounding it. So you do not need to build strength into your frame. You would only use a 54 or a 70 mm if you are doing a side light to a patio door or a sliding window or whatever the case is. Alright, so I'm going to use the first option, which is Swift 28mm frame. Normally the most likely option is the first option on the list. All those lists have been sorted or prioritized with the most common option being at the top. So I choose that. Then I need to use this button with the 3 dots. And when I click on it, it says choose your frame. Now we said our frame is going to be all the way around the outside, plus this mullion that runs all the way through from the one side of the frame to the other side of the frame. So to choose that design, I simply click on that icon, and you'll see there it gives me a reference picture for what this frame looks like, and on the right hand side it shows me what my design looks like at this stage. Now if we pop back to our reference drawing, we'll see that we've got an overall width of 1200 for this frame, split up as 600 and 600, and an overall height of 900. So that's what we want to achieve. So I can choose now. I can either work with the overall width and height of that frame, or I can individually work with width 1, width 2, and height 1. Width 1 and width 2 are as per this drawing here, where that reference point is the center line of that mullion. Or alternatively, if I work on the overall width, it's from outer edge to outer edge. And because my dimensions have been given to me from outer edge to outer edge, that's going to be my easiest. So I simply type in there 1200. Now whenever you modify a dimension or a size on the Starfront program, it's best to use the tab key once you've finished making that change. That just tells Windows to save that dimension. It automatically updates my drawing on the right hand side, and it automatically moves me to the next field that has to be entered. And we said our height on this window is 900. Once again, I use the tab key. So on the right hand side, you'll see this is what I now have. I have a frame, there's no openings. It's 1200 wide, split at 600, 600, with an overall height of 900. Now if we go back to our reference drawing, you'll see that is exactly what we want on our reference drawing. I will also notice that the CF04 clear float 4mm glass is automatically shown in those panels. The frame is shown in white because I have chosen white as my color. And in fact, on this particular window, that's all I need to do. I do not need to add any inserts into this design because there are no openings. Your inserts are normally for the opening panels. So that actually completes the design of window 1. Now, what I can do is I can click on the small button with the blue button with a question mark, say check design, and it'll just make sure that that design complies. You do not need to click on that check design button each time. If I will simply go in and say, all right, I want to start my next design, and I do that by clicking on the blue plus button at the top here, the program will force a check for me anyhow. So I say, all right, check the next design. I didn't get any error messages, which means my design is fine. All right, so I've now, the program has automatically saved all of that design for me, and it's now asking me for my next reference. So the next design I want to do is the following one. It's going to be called Window 02. It's also 1200 wide by 900 high, but this time I have got 2 top hung sashes on the left hand side of that frame. Okay, my mullion is still sitting in the middle, 600 by 600. So if I make the decision which part is my frame and which part is my insert, my frame is still all the way around the outside, and then that mullion runs from the one side of the frame all the way to the other side of the frame. So that will form part of my frame. This transom, however, runs from this one point and it stops at that at that mullion. So therefore it does not form part of my frame. Okay, so now I know what it is that I want to design. I can put in reference is W02. There's one of these, and I can use my tab key if I want to jump automatically. It's designed at 1000 pascals, which we said was our default for this project, and we're not going to put in installation now. So now I go to the type of window. Once again, I choose Crealco windows. Which system? We decided we're going to work with the Swift 28 system. What category? Once again, I'm not building a side light. I don't have any need for a wider frame. So I'm going to choose my standard 28mm frame. Now I click on the button with 3 dots. What is my frame going to be? I said there's only 1 million that runs all the way through. So in fact, I'm going to use the same frame as I used to design window 1. All right. I've choose that frame. What is the overall width? We want it to be 1200. What is the overall height? 900. So I can go back and check at my reference drawing if I want, just to make sure. Overall 1200, height 900. So I'm happy I've got that information correct. Okay, now I need to go and put sashes into this to create the design that I want. Now I can see that the opening on the left is panel 01, the opening on the right is panel 02. So if I want my sashes on the left, and if I go back to my reference drawing, you'll see there my sashes on the left hand side. Then what I need to do is I need to put the insert into panel 01. So what you do is you go to this insert section, you go down and you choose panel 01. That means I'm working on the left. What type of insert is it? Once again, these inserts are prioritized in the order you're most likely to use them. So we're going to use the first option, which is just a simple top-hung sash. Category, there is only one category, so there's no decision to be made there. And now when I want to choose my sash, what I do is I use the button with the 3 dots, and it will give me pictures of the different sashes that are available. So I know I want a top-hung sash over a top-hung sash, so I'm going to use that one there, the 4th item at the top row. And all you need to do is simply click on that item, and Starfront will automatically put those sashes in for you on that design. Alright, so there's my 2 sashes. I've got the transom in place. I've got an overall window of 1200 wide by 900 high. Once again, I can check my design if I want, but this time I'm going to show you, you don't have to check your design each time. I'm happy with that design. I want to now move on to my next design, so I click on the plus button. No error messages came up, no warnings, so my design complies with the regulations. Alright, so let's go and have a look at the third one that we want to design now. The third window I want to make is 1900 wide, and 900 high, but this time we've got 2 side-hung sashes. So once again, have a look at this design. Look, the frame is all the way around the outside, and then any mullion or transom that runs all the way through. There's a mullion that runs through from the one side to the opposite side. Here's another mullion that runs through from the one side to the other side. So I am going to start off with the frame that has got those 2 mullions in place. We're 1900 wide by 900 high. Okay, so this one we're going to call W03. The quantity is 1, the wind load is 1000, the installation we're not worrying about. What type of window is it? It's a Creelco window. Which system? The Swift 28. The category is going to be once again a standard 28mm frame. I don't need to make a wider frame for any reason. And now when I choose my frame, so I use the button with the 3 dots, I want to use this third frame here because I said there were 2 mullions that run all the way through from the one side to the other side. So I choose that frame and you will see it will automatically now give me a 3 panel wide by 1 panel high frame. And this has got dimensions W1, W2, W3 and overall width W. So I put in an overall width of 1900, an overall height of 1900, and that automatically sets my panels the right size. Now what I need to do is I need to put a side-hung sash into opening number 1 and another side-hung sash into opening number 2. Sorry, opening number 3. Opening 2 is my center panel. So I need more than one insert. And that's quite easy to do. So what I do is I create the first insert. Which opening do I want to put that in? I want to put it into opening number 1. What type of insert? This time it's not going to be a top hung, it's going to be a side hung sash. So I choose side hung sash. The category, there is only one category. The button with the 3 dots. What is the sash that I want? That's what I want there. Just a single side hung sash to fill up that space. Now, how do I add a second sash? Well, I add a second sash by utilizing this green plus button, which says Add Insert. So I click on Add Insert. Now I drop down my list. Where do I want to put it in? Opening 2 or opening 3? You'll see opening number 1 has been dropped from that list because I've already put an insert into opening 1. So I'm going to choose opening number 3. What type of insert do I want to put in? I want to put in a side hung sash. All right. What category? There's only one category, and the code. So again, I'm going to put that same side hung sash as I put into opening number 1. But I don't want to manufacture it with the window opening that way. I want my window to flip over. And that's what we call the handing of the window. So all I do is I go here to where it says what hand is this window. Just notice that I'm on panel number 3. And I go there and change that drop down. I choose a left hand window. That won't change this reference drawing, but it will show me on my design now what that window looks like. Alright, and now I can say, alright, I'm happy with that. Check that design. I'm happy with the design. And there I have completed the design of 3 casement windows. So this is on a very simple, superficial level on how to do your design. The next video we will go into more detailed examples where, for example, the mullion has to be replaced or we need to change glass or something in that design. But for the time being, to design a basic casement window, that is the process that you need to follow. Okay, so once again guys, thanks very much for taking the time to watch this video. I hope you learned something today. Please stay healthy, stay safe, stay happy, and we'll see each other again in another video. Bye-bye.